please rise and direct your attention to the back of the gymnasium as our graduates enter.
Good evening. First, let us thank those who helped make this day possible. Your parents, community members, Finneytown staff, many others, and all of your hard work. As a community, we've worked hard to prepare you for the next step of your journey. Over the past few weeks, as I pondered what to say at a momentous event such as this, I found myself lost in thought. A question I encountered on a daily basis was someone asking, "Hey, is the speech ready?" My vague answer, always the same. I have some thoughts floating around in my head, so yeah, it's taking shape. The problem? My thoughts were philosophic potentiality, or some loosely connected string of evasive thoughts about as concrete as Plato. To move my scattered thoughts from potentiality to actuality, I needed to focus my mind's eye. One small problem. If I pursued my thoughts, that's all I would do. Constantly chase just the right words. So I decided to emulate the effortlessly calm, still, reflective bear, the Taoist master, Winnie the Pooh. I would do nothing. How often do we take time to do nothing? The power of a calm, clear mind is beyond description. The calming joy of the great nothing. So one day, without thinking, I sat in my garden, smelling the pungent aromas of growing fruits, vegetables, and compost. And much like the bird poop that suddenly landed and unexpectedly arrived on my shoulder, a few stories entered my mind. I'm not sure, but maybe there's a connection. Now one must remember, a story can serve as a common starting point in order to communicate a message. And at the same time, a story is a method of making sense of the world. In fact, story sharing is the foundation of a common human culture which has the potential to engage all humans as equally valued participants. Let us contemplate a man who discovered his shadow. Watching the shadow's live motion, the man assumed that it was alive. Because it followed him so faithfully, he decided that he was the shadow's master and that the shadow was his servant. But gradually he began to believe that it was the shadow that was initiating the action, and that the shadow was his irreplaceable guide and companion. He took increasing account of the shadow's welfare. He went so far as to awkwardly maneuver himself in order that the shadow might comfortably sit in a chair or lie in a bed. The importance of the shadow to the man grew to such an extent that finally the man became, in effect, the shadow of his own shadow. My question: how and why did the shadow become the master of the man? Well, do you know who you are? Are you a servant to various masters? Have you emerged from the cave, or do you continue to enjoy the bliss of ignorance? Your time here at Finneytown has challenged many of you to begin the process of self-discovery. Whether you climbed out on a limb, took a class that was outside your area of intellectual comfort, tried to learn a new instrument or craft, or actively participated in extracurriculars, how often do you spend time alone with your thoughts? If you don't contemplate your thoughts, you will never have any thoughts of your own. You will only have other people's thoughts in your head, thus allowing someone or something else to create your essence. I challenge you to discover the creativity and energy of the great nothing. Reflect on your various experiences and challenges here at Finneytown, and take the time to discover your authentic self. This leads to a second story with the basic premise that there are two different kinds of people, the spectator and the actor. Now imagine a horse-drawn wagon, similar to something you might see in Amish country. Imagine that one person is holding the reins while asleep, the other person is holding the reins fully awake. In one case, the horse pulls the wagon down a familiar road without any direction from the sleeping person. The other case, the person actually drives the wagon. Now, it may be true that both people exist, but I will argue that existence is a quality in the individual, and that a person must conscientiously participate in an act. Therefore, only the conscious driver exists. Similarly, only a person who is consciously engaged in the activity of choice can truly be said to exist. Both the spectator and the actor exist, but only the actor is involved in existence. Those of you that exist, please wake your slumbering neighbor. A meaning of your life might just be to help others find the meaning in their life. You always have freedom of choice, not the consumerist idea of choice where you bury yourself in material consumption, but the choice to find meaning in everything you do. Will you be asleep during the journey of life, or will you engage the world around you? I encourage you to be an active participant in your life's journey. So what does all this existential philosophy really mean? Well, let's think about it a little differently. Take the fruitcake. A cake often served around the world in celebration of a momentous occasion, such as this. Now, many of you may think you know a bit about fruitcakes, thinking that this is simply a cake with chopped candied fruit and or dried fruit, nuts, and spices. However, the journey of our modern understanding of fruitcake is long and often misunderstood. So I ask, what is its essence, and how did this tasty morsel that most of you hold in contempt come to exist? Well, the earliest known recipe is from ancient Rome, where barley mash was mixed with pomegranate seeds, pine nuts, and raisins. Seemingly unrelated ingredients came together to create a new, delicious, and highly sought-after cake. Think of the seemingly unrelated ingredients as you. During your elementary years, teachers may have seen you as a mix of pomegranate seeds, pine nuts, raisins, and barley mash. As new students moved in, there were new ingredients to add. So in middle school, honey, spices, preserved fruits were added to the Finneytown fruitcake. The growing diversity of the student body represented by the growing diversity of ingredients and the increased complexity of flavor combinations. As there are rules in school, there are rules of fruitcakes too. Yes, it is true that during the Middle Ages, the church banned the use of butter in fruitcakes, with the same effectiveness as the secondary campus's banning of electronic devices. Many secretly added milk and butter to their fruitcake, risking eternal damnation, much like many of you texted during class or listened to your devices at the wrong time, risking the eternal warning, please, please put it away. As all of you remember from history class, in 1490, Pope Innocent VIII granted written permission, known as the Butter Letter, to once again use milk and butter in fruitcake. Similarly, administration has recently written the Bring Your Own Device Letter, allowing for the use of all sorts of electronic devices next year. In the Americas, the boundaries of what was considered a fruitcake were pushed, much like high school students who enjoy pushing boundaries and experimenting with new thoughts, behaviors, and deeds. The Americans added candied fruits and spirits. Then in 1935, vast quantities of nuts were added to fruitcakes due to cheap southern nuts, and this led to the expression, nutty as a fruitcake, which may be appropriate for some of you. Many of you will leave Finneytown. You are continuing your journey, much like the fruitcake continues that gets sent all over the world. As the fruitcake evolved into its various forms of existence, so too have you developed along your journey here at Finneytown. The mixing of all the various ingredients made the fruitcake the delicious morsel it is today, much like the mixing of diverse groups of students has impacted who you are. Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Take time to examine the ingredients that make up who you are. Think about the values you wish to live your life by. Believe in yourself based on the thinking you have done about the values you're going to live your life by. Dream about the things that can be based on your belief in yourself and the values that you're going to live your life by. Dare to make your dreams become reality based on your belief in yourself and your values. Work to become the best person you can be. Life is a journey. Take the next step, and I hope along the way you discover your meaning. On behalf of Finneytown, I wish you all the best.
I totally understood the parallel with fruitcakes and electronic devices. I want to see him apply that to dress code, and I'd love to hear how that works. At this time, I'd like to introduce our chorale under the direction of Mr. Jason McKee. They will be followed by a performance by our fusion ensemble led by Miss Heidi Johnson.
administration we have put you through. You have opened our eyes to new ways of seeing the world and have given us the knowledge we will need to succeed. I would also like to thank my family for all of the support they have given me. I wouldn't be here without them. Class of 2012, thank you for all of the memorable years here at Finneytown. We have grown a lot over the last 12 years. We began school with our small Bob the Builder and Princess backpacks, excited to meet new friends, but still scared to leave our parents. During 4th grade was the move to Cottonwood, where we met the rest of our class and competed in the field day hula hoop contest. Then we finally became the big kids during 6th grade, practicing our business marketing skills during mini society. Middle school resulted in years of races and the tiny lockers. I was terrified of being late, and I would run to class every day carrying all of my books. In 8th grade, we ventured to Washington, D.C. to visit all of the monuments and museums. Then finally, we made it to high school. Many of us had band camp over the summer. I have countless stories that began one time at band camp, ... As high school progressed, we took on harder classes and more responsibility, but we never lost our spirit. We still levitate lab tables and decorate the school with sidewalk chalk. I will always remember the memories I've made with all of you. As many of you know, I had 2 knee surgeries last year. I spent months hobbling around on crutches and racing my friends down the hallway. While these surgeries have prevented me from running, like I always wanted to do, I believe that they have given me an opportunity to grow and to participate in other organizations and activities. I have tried not to let this obstacle stand in my way. We will all continue to face obstacles in our lives. The question to ask yourself is whether the obstacles in our path will defeat us or whether we will triumph. As we face obstacles in our future, we should consider what Henry Ford said. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. By keeping our focus on our dreams and the opportunities ahead, these obstacles will disappear. Consider the world we live in today. The Arab Spring has brought sweeping changes to the Middle East. The tsunami hit Japan, causing massive devastation, and our economy has experienced significant troubles. What will the future hold? Unfortunately, I cannot tell you that, but I know that Finneytown has prepared us to enter this crazy world. We have gained the knowledge and abilities we will need to succeed no matter what path we take. We have control over our future and the many opportunities that lie ahead. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Thank you.
I present Mr. Jonas Carlsson.
Congratulations, class of 2012. Not 11, as Mr. Muchmore believes. I must say I'm proud, excited, and a little nervous, as I think we all are. It was a long journey, but we all made it. As valedictorian, I've been given the opportunity to give the valediction, the farewell speech. We are here at graduation, which I see as the gateway into adult life. At this moment, we should do 2 things. First, take a glance over our shoulders and look at the past. Then, set our sights ahead to look forward with hope. This is our chance to glance back. It is only a glance, not a longing gaze. Walking the path of life is a whole lot trickier if you're looking over your shoulder to the past. So let's take a few minutes to savor this final time together. First, I need to bid adieu to my classmates. I've been so lucky to have you guys to learn alongside. From playing checkers with Tyron in kindergarten to dissecting a stinky fetal pig with Robbie just last week. I have friends to learn with and to experience the growing world. When I had no idea when homework was due, I could always ask Alina. And in 2nd grade, I was lucky enough to have Patrick help me create a scale out of wooden blocks. These are just a few examples of how you guys got me to where I am today. I hope that I helped you out too along the way. Next year, I'll have to find some more people to learn alongside. I can only hope that they will be as good to me as you were. Take some time to look around you and remember how special this group of people is. We come from many different backgrounds, including Germany, Uganda, Russia, Nepal, Romania, and even that strange and distant land known as California. Wherever we come from, we share something. Our time at Finneytown. Here, we found friends and developed the skills for the next stage of life. Now, just as we came from all over, we disperse. Everyone going different places with different plans. It's sad, but it's a part of our lives. I know from our many years of school together that we are all going on to do great things. We plan on healing others through nursing, medicine, or therapy. We will be the ones creating the look of the future through careers in design or engineering. A whole heck of a lot in engineering. We will protect our country through military service. We will educate the next generation. We will learn age-old trades and join the workforce. Most importantly, we will use what we learned here at Finneytown to improve the world and leave a mark. In the years ahead, we need to keep in mind a few things. I don't know any better than you about what's to come, but here's what I have to say. Get to know yourself. This is a lifelong effort, but everything you do will be based on it. Don't be afraid to rely on your supporters. You all have friends and family who love you, or you will do anything to see you succeed. Trust me, we'll hear from them loud and proud a little later. Just remember, they might need your help too. Finally, use what you know about yourself and the assistance you've gotten to help others and the world. This is our ultimate purpose in life, to work with others for the good of all. When you do that, you'll be using what you learned here at Finneytown in your own way. That is what's special about this moment. It is the start of the transition from being assisted to assisting. Now, if you don't mind, class of 2012, I would like to lead a farewell to Finneytown for all of us. We owe it to the administrators, teachers, staff, and parents who helped make this district run. Our time together couldn't have even happened without them. Their efforts created some of our best moments. These were track and field days for some people, and art shows and concerts for others. Many of us went on trips to Washington, D.C., Chicago, or Disney, and just as importantly, the zoo, Spring Grove Cemetery, or the public library. Again, we didn't do anything to have these great times. They did. In elementary school, we had parties almost once a month, for anything from Valentine's Day to Arbor Day. Some of us are staying here, but life will never be the same. When we think about that, let's not cry because we are moving on, but we bow with gratitude for all of those who helped us. So please, help me give Finneytown a cheer of thanks. This may be Danka to Mark, Webale for Akram, Spasibo to Luda, Danyabad for Samir, Lakbat, and Nima, Multimetsk to Alberto, or so yeah, man, I totally gotta thank you for Caitlin and Courtney. We will say thank you in our own ways, but no words can truly express what we feel. Whatever you say it loud, because soon it is time to face forward again. Soon it is time to veer off from the trailhead and clear paths for ourselves and those who follow. Farewell and Godspeed.
Our magna cum laude cords are silver, so if you have a silver cord, please stand. This represents a GPA from 4.3 to 4.599. And finally, the gold cord, summa cum laude, 4.6 and above. Please stand if you're wearing a gold.